what's involved with running for city council? Like, what is that process for people that have never thought about it?
So the process, I think, is going to be on what you as a candidate want to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, you have to gather. We're districts now. Temecula moved to districts,
Okay.
so you have to gather 20 signatures from registered voters within your district
Mm-hmm.
and turn in your paperwork. And you can literally call it that. You have to be 18, resident, registered voter, and collect your 20 signatures. A big part of campaigning is fundraising, and it matters on what you're going to do within those, with those dollars. It's a little bit easier with districts because it's smaller and more concentrated, but it changes some of the dynamics as far as, if you're running what's considered at large, you're running for any of the seats. Now you're running for a specific seat. It's a little bit more targeted that way. My campaign kind of falls in line with everything that I've pitched and believed, and it's grassroots. I've identified households that I will be walking to, neighborhoods that I will be walking to, which is essentially every household within my district is my goal.
And so yours is District 4.
Mine is District 4.
And so what, for those of us that know Temecula, what's kind of that territory?
So it's not exact, but it's more or less the northeastern part of Temecula.
Mm-hmm.
So I say Butterfield Stage to Margarita,
Mm-hmm.
and then Murrieta Hot Springs south to Rancho California.
Okay.
And there's some crossover in there, but that's more or less kind of the area that we're looking at.
That makes sense.
So,
and then, so do you have to actually live in that district?
Have to live in the district, yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting. Huh. And so how many potential voters are there?
So there's a little over 13,000 registered voters in my particular district,
Okay.
According to some of the information that I pulled out. And this will be an interesting year. A presidential election year always draws more voters anyway, just
Mm-hmm.
because it's a bigger. You see a lot more, federal and national ads on TV and whatnot. So you'll have those out. This year with COVID, things are definitely, I think, mixed up a little bit more too. Not mixed up in a bad way, just kind of stirring it a little bit. And one of those being that every voter in California will be mailed a ballot, whether you're absentee or not. One will be mailed to you. Now you can choose to still mail it in if you want to, or you can go down and take it to a polling station and turn it in, but everyone will be mailed to the house. So the anticipation of how many voters or how many votes will take place, it's pretty high this time. I mean, I've heard as high as 80, probably more like 60 to 70% will vote. Where there's been times we've only had a 40% voter turnout. So I think this will be one of those years where there's going to be quite a bit.
Do you know how many votes are needed to win?
No, I mean this is only Temecula's second district election,
Mm-hmm.
and this will be the first for District 4.
Okay.
We just went to districts as a city in 2017, I believe, is when it was actually passed through. The election in 18 was for districts 1, 3, and 5. This election will be for 2 and 4. Based on previous elections, candidates have won, or council members, I should say, have won with about 4,000 votes, some as low as like 2,500 votes. It's a majority. It's a simple majority kind of a win, but without knowing what District 4 is going to look like, and then really without knowing what this year is going to look like turnout. So that's why I'm knocking on every door.
Well, you're out there doing what you got to do, man. So that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
And so do you have like a social media strategy and all that kind of stuff? Like there's so many things you got to do nowadays to do anything.
Well, there is, and that's one of the differences. So, without any public events,
Mm-hmm.
normally by nature, you know this from me, I'm at a chamber event, I'm at a city event,
Mm-hmm.
I'm at this function. So that's a lot of FaceTime that you're able to get that we're not having right now. And while some of those are virtual, we were kind of joking before the show, Zoom is... it's just not the same, right?
Yeah.
You don't have that same personal touch, and you don't have that opportunity. So social media is going to be, I think, a big part of it. So we've got stuff running on Instagram and stuff running on Facebook. I'll give a shout out to Jenna Garza, who's handling all my social media stuff for me, which is a huge help. And that's having volunteers and having help, really takes some of the pressure off.
Yeah.
Really the heavy lifting load. I mean, I've got to get out and I've got to do the work and I've got to perform, and I understand that, but there's just some logistics that having these help. I've had volunteers willing to walk neighborhoods for me, which is important. Someone actually saw a social media post today, posted by someone else. They're like, I don't know you, but can we sit down and talk? Seem like a nice guy, and it's like, sure. That's that's the only way I'm going to do it. Right.
That's
I
great.
mean, it doesn't take much to have a conversation. And if you like me, great, share with your friends. And if you don't like me, it's very nice to meet you.
Yeah.
No hurt feelings. No, nothing like that.
No hardcore negotiating for their vote or
No,
twisting arms and stuff like that.
No,
Yeah.
no. And that's real. I mean, my campaign will be positive. Right?
Good.
It's just me.
I would expect that from you. Yeah.
And it feels funny to say campaign. I mean, it feels funny to think that, hey, I'm a politician from that perspective, because really I'm Adam.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, my little yard sign that you see over here doesn't for spacing. My larger yard signs, it's Temecula's future for my family and yours. That's who I am. This is what I'm running for, and that's all I'm looking at. It doesn't matter what your party line is, what your preference on. I mean, I've had people ask all kinds of stuff, and that's the other kind of funny part I will say about the campaign is people will ask questions about things that are outside of Temecula's purview.
Right.
Hey, what are you going to do about Governor Newsom? What are you going to do about the 15 freeway? What are you going to do? And it's like, as a city council member, no matter what I say, there's no real control over that. Maybe that defines who I am as a person, but I'd rather just get to know what I can do and the impact that I can have within the city, and then just know this is me. That's all I'm asking you. Look at me, trust in me, support me.
That's awesome.